best turnouts ever tonight. So my first question is, what is innovation? And the main argument I've got is, really, if you understand it, then it's not really innovative. Which is my excuse for any part of my speech. It may not be absolutely clear. If you don't understand it, just assume I'm being super innovative and it's just way, way in advance of any of our understanding. I think the first point I'd like to make is real innovation is about not having ideas, but about solving problems. These days, everyone's got an idea for a new app or product or something like that, clever ideas, but actually real innovation is driven by solving real problems which exist in the world. And it's actually those problems which you need to target to then be able to drive innovative change to solve them. And we, as a community in HR, are blessed in this area. We are blessed with more problems and issues than other business areas, and so we have plenty of areas to be innovative about. So that's kind of the good news. The question, I guess, is targeting the right problems, and that is really the question for innovators in any business, which is which are the problems to actually target to solve. So I picked out my top 3 for this year, and the first of those, which I've talked about before, is recruitment. And we are, this year and in future years, going to recruit more people from more diverse routes. We're going to pay less to third parties to recruit those people, and we're going to get better and more sustainable staff. And the question is, how is that all going to happen? I think that the first thing we're going to do is put our companies out there. We're going to tell the truth about them and turn the conventional recruitment market on its head by actually putting our companies out into the world rather than relying on third parties to do that for us. In fact, when you describe it that way, it's kind of weird that we've done that ever. But that's really what the whole middle market of recruitment is about, and that is going to disappear. At the same time, I think the second innovation is that we are going to see the end of LinkedIn. LinkedIn is actually going to disappear. I don't know where that's going to come from, but what we do know is that LinkedIn has got everybody's CV in the world on it, and yet none of us, tell me if I'm wrong, none of us can find the right person ever. Something's fundamentally wrong with it. It's MySpace before Facebook arrived. And I think, therefore, my tip is that LinkedIn is going to be gone in 2 years' time, and it's going to start happening during this year. So we better revisit this next January and see if that was even close. We are all now genuinely working on building talent pools outside our organisation. Just your attendance here is proving that you are part of that community who are recruiting and networking and looking for new roles yourselves in a different way from the traditional method which most of our companies use. And that is something which I think is, that is the proof that this area is going to change completely over the next few years, because you guys are all innovators in that area and you are already doing it. And I think that in itself demonstrates how much that area is going to change. Next, number 2 innovation for next year is actually one about internal HR. So the Ulrich model is the sole model which we have been deploying. 93% of organisations are undertaking or have completed an implementation of the Ulrich model, as we've all seen and published sometime in the last century. That model is going to fundamentally change this year, because we're going to see the growth of networked communities within our businesses and outside our businesses. So currently, if you look traditionally at centres of expertise, those centres are driven by experts within your firm, supported by 1 or 2 paid experts outside your firm. That is going to change because in every other sphere, we don't rely on that kind of a mechanism. We don't ask the people next door to us to tell us information about how to do this or that. We just go onto the internet and we look for our community of people who have shared the same experience. The reason for that is the quality of data which you get is better through that route and is more relevant and is more current than anything which any advisor is ever going to give you. You can, for example, if you have a particular staff issue, talk to the last 5 people who experienced exactly the same issue in your industry. So these network communities of expertise are going to change the way we are organised in most businesses in terms of HR. And I think that's the second innovative tip. I think that the way I see it is that the whole Ulrich model and the way we're organised is going to change, become more fluid, more business-led and networked as a norm, not as a special thing. So the third, and this is simply on HR technology, is that technology is going to become more employee-focused. So this is number 3. In essence, if I put it really simple, everything is going to be mobile in 2 years' time. Everything on HR, everything on HR software, it's all going to be mobile. Nothing is going to be menu-driven. We don't use menus on any other form of technology we use, and we won't be using it on HR technology either. And the third thing, it's going to involve no training whatsoever. We're not trained on our phones, we're not trained in anything else. It's going to be the same in all HR technology and all HR processes. There may be kinds of training, but you're not going to recognise them as training. And that's going to change the world in terms of that business area as well. So those are the 3 tips, 3 thoughts as innovation in HR. So that I can make sure that Charlotte holds me to account. They are, firstly, recruitment, the transformation of recruitment and the disappearance of LinkedIn. Secondly, network communities and a change in the way HR organises itself. And then thirdly, HR technology that is entirely employee-focused and involves no training whatsoever. So those are my thoughts on innovation for HR. I've also got the list of the 5 hottest technology innovations which are predicted from the Vegas Technology Conference a couple of weeks ago. And I'll just list them out to you to see. The 5 I've picked are the ones which I think have got the largest HR implication. They are virtual reality, apparently the hottest technology change over the next decade. The idea that training, for example, can be delivered in a virtual manner, so as if you're actually doing the task in an environment, and also networking can be done in that way as well. SharePoint is kind of the beginning of something and the most difficult tool to use ever. So virtual reality is the end of that kind of networking. Next one is wearable and ingestible technology. The whole HR sphere about ingesting technology and using it is unexplored, but will be over the next 10 years. Next, and I think this is possibly my favourite, fast, self-charging mobile phones. Mobile phones with battery life lasts forever. I can't wait for that one. And then, lastly, virtual assistants. Effectively, robots who support us in all of our activities. Virtual assistants who are there better than serious on all this kind of stuff. And they're going to be with us, and we are going to have to write employment contracts for these people. And that's it. So I'd like to welcome you to our year of innovation.